a lot of great people here. You know, they made me feel at home right away, and I really am looking forward to competing with them.
Can you also tell me, I know you haven't had much of a chance to drive, but what are your first impressions compared to when you were testing last year?
I can't give you any yet. It's too early to tell. You know, I only drove it a half a lap, so we're still warming it up.
Michael Andretti, how are you?
Good, how you doing?
Good stuff. How are you getting on with your new team? Are you going to make it into Formula One?
That's our goal. We're working on it. I think, we have the process that we're in the middle of with the FIA and submitting our paperwork this week and hopefully get an answer middle of July. So, we're making good progress.
And that's for 2025 or 26?
25.
Oh, wow. You've got a lot of work to do in a hurry then.
Yeah, we're already doing it. Yeah, it's already happening. And, we're building the team as we speak.
It would be great to see the Andretti name on the grid again.
Hello and welcome to Frontrunner Motorsport. And joyous news, as it is confirmed Andretti will be the 11th team on the Formula One grid, joining the most prestigious racing series in the world in the year 2025 or 2026. Honestly, it wasn't very clear. Along with the Cadillac brand, owned by multi-billion-dollar company General Motors, although founded from the Henry Ford company, strangely enough. Cadillac will be a completely new name to Formula One, but has a long history in motorsport, if not a very successful one. Mostly endurance racing, it has to be said, with a Cadillac in the current World Endurance Hypercar class and a lot of success in the IMSA in the last 6 years. They also made one of my favourite Le Mans cars, the Le Monster of 1950. As for Andretti Global, well, Michael Andretti does have F1 experience, but I imagine he doesn't like talking about it very much. But he was Ayrton Senna's teammate for half a year, and he did score a Formula One podium in his final race. His father Mario, on the other hand, had plenty of Formula One success, winning the 1978 championship with Lotus, alongside his Indy 500 win, his 1984 kart IndyCar championship, his 2 USAC championships in the mid-60s, a couple of Le Mans podiums, and a NASCAR Daytona 500 win. Mario Andretti's a legend, but the team his son has built onto a global stage has also done very impressive things in multiple racing series around the world, hence the global name, I guess. The Andretti team brings a lot of success with them to Formula One, 4 IndyCar championships and 5 Indy 500s. The 2023 Formula E championship, thanks to Jake Dennis. Jacques Villeneuve won the kart series back in 1995, a win in Extreme E, and of course success with Cadillac and Wayne Taylor Racing in the IMSA. The point I'm trying to make is this is an entity that can at the very least survive in Formula One. This isn't a Virgin, Caterham or HRT, definitely not an Andrea Moda. This is a vastly successful and experienced race team, ran by an experienced race driver from a family of successful race drivers with a multi-billion century-old car manufacturer backing them. There is no reason for Formula One to turn down their application to join the grid. And yet, the 10 teams currently in Formula One did try to stop it from happening. The reason, of course, is money. Andretti have to pay $200 million to join the Formula One grid, and that is split between the current 10 teams, a cool 20 mil each. Apparently, that is not enough. The current teams have been complaining that Andretti joining the grid means that prize money is going to have to be split further, and that, as fans of Formula One and motor racing generally, should make us very angry. The selfishness on display. Yes, it has to be a feasible business for the sport to exist, but not to the detriment of the fans. We want to see these global mega powers in Formula One. The more the merrier. Yes, it's probably best we stay away from the early 90s level of competitors who entered Formula One, such as Fondmetal, Scuderia Italia and the aforementioned Andrea Moda. It was a mistake to let teams like that, teams with no chance of success or survival, into Formula One. But Andretti Cadillac, how can anyone be in a position to say no? Teams should not get a say in the formation of a grid. Now, if the FIA was going to add like 30 teams, and it was going to be a complete mess, then yes, they could protest. But when the FIA are looking at potential new entries, the teams should butt out. For that reason, I feel sorry for Rodin. I'm sure the reason is that the FIA could only allow one team on the grid before the demented honking from the rest of the teams got too much. But Rodin do look more like a Caterham than Andretti do. They have existed for less than 2 decades. They have made one track car in small numbers in that time, and even that is just a rebadged Lotus. That would set you back about $2 million. What they did have in their favour is their recent partnership with the Carlin race team, one of the most successful junior Formula teams ever, with plenty of industry experience. Also the promise of a female driver, which the FIA has been making very loud mating calls about, but that was still not good enough. High-Tech also failed in an F1 bid, which is a shame because, again, it could probably do it, and it does have a lot of financial backing. LKY, Suns and Formula Equal, not so much. Both teams had a heavy focus on diversity and both have failed. Craig Pollock was involved with the latter, and it was apparently going to be funded by a Gulf state, which is hilarious. It's a bit like Barack Obama's presidential campaign being funded by the KKK. Audi and Ford are all set to join the grid at around the same time as Andretti, but from what I've read, they'll be taking Alpine engines at least to begin with. So we move on to drivers who could potentially race for this new Andretti team. I think we can count Romain Grosjean out. Until the end of this year, the IndyCar season, he was an Andretti employee, but he has had such a terrible year, he has seemingly been kicked from the team. Colton Herta was another Indy star who had a pretty awful 2023. He is good enough, but he doesn't have enough super license points, which is ridiculous. He has taken 7 IndyCar wins and finished 3rd overall. How is he not experienced enough for a seat in any series? If Andretti pushed, Colton Herta would be allowed on the grid. Alex Palou could be a contender. Yes, he has a contract with Chip Ganassi and he just turned down McLaren, but all that just proves he doesn't pay much attention to legally binding contracts. If Logan Sargent doesn't continue with Williams in 2025 or beyond, then maybe as an American with Formula 1 experience, he could be a candidate. Huge outsider, but given the push for a female F1 driver, I would put in someone from the F1 Academy, and I would go for a shot contender like Bianca Bustamante. I believe she has a lot of financial backing behind her, though it depends on a super license again, of course. Then there are the elder statesmen, Fernando Alonso, Valtteri Bottas or Daniel Ricciardo. If they vacate their current seats before 2026 and desperately want to prolong their careers any further, then a new team looking for an experienced driver could do a lot worse than any of these guys. I doubt we'll know until closer to the time. We are of course a couple of years off and a lot could happen before then. And just remember, this is not a done deal. It still has to go to the rights holders and whatnot. And they're not guaranteed to give Andretti a yes right out of the gate. But I am happy to see Andretti in F1. So consider me excited for a new team joining the F1 grid. I do want to like Formula 1, but no doubt it has stagnated quite a bit over the last, let's say 15 years. So, new teams, new engine manufacturers, and hopefully new drivers joining the grid. Maybe some regulation changes and someone with a brain cell who works for the FIA realising the calendar is terrible. And Formula 1 might get to be exciting over the course of a whole season, rather than the odd race here and there. Let me know your thoughts down below on Andretti joining the grid and who you think may end up driving for them. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, so very close to 1,000 subscribers now. Thank you for watching and have a good one.